knows me and everybody knows Brooks, and we're going to team teach this together today. And this session in particular is called Managing Energy and Making Change. So when you hear that title, Managing Energy, what do you think about that? How many of you would like more energy? Would you like more energy? How would you like more energy?
No, I think I'm doing fine.
You're good with your energy then. How about you?
Sure.
You would like more, right? I mean, who wouldn't want to have more energy, right? It's a great thing to have. If you had more energy, what do you think you might do with it?
Get off the couch and stop watching TV.
Okay, and what would you do? So you got off the couch, stopped watching TV. What could you do?
I don't know, kindergarten or something like that.
Okay, great. Okay, perfect. How about you? If you had even more energy,
I stay busy, so.
you stay busy.
Yeah.
But if you had more energy, do you think you might be able to do even more? Maybe enjoy things even more, be happier, have more physical energy?
Nah. At this point in my life, if I had more energy, I'd probably kill myself.
You wouldn't know what to do with it.
I would know.
Well, you're actually in the right place, because sometimes we don't know what to do with our energy, because if we had more, it's like, what do I do with it? Where do I put it? And so one of the things that we're going to talk about in this class is what is really important to you, and what, if you did have more energy, just in case you wake up with extra, what could I do with it? Who would I want to give it to? And it might be you, but it might be somebody else out there. So we're going to just have a chance to chat about that. We're also going to talk about making change. Is making change an easy thing to do? What do you think?
Well, good question. It could be, depending on the person, I guess.
Yeah, depending on the person and depending on what it is. So if people are asking you to eat differently, is that difficult to do sometimes?
Yes.
Or to exercise differently? That could be difficult, right?
Exercise,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Or maybe to act differently. Well, you need to be more patient. You need to be more understanding. And sometimes we say, I am who I am. I'm not going to change, right?
No.
So whatever that change might be, it might be difficult. So we're just going to talk about how do you make change easier to make. So that's just one of the things we'll touch on. I think you both have seen this before, right? The 4 different dimensions of energy. So what this is all about is recognizing that we're holistic, right? We're not just a body. We have a body, we have a heart, we have a mind, we have a soul. And do you think those things are all connected to each other?
They are.
They are. One affects the other. Your body and the conditioning of your body, it affects your heart, it affects your mind, it affects everything within the system. And we don't want to just focus on your physical, because we can get you all fixed up physically, but if we ignore the other parts, we're really missing out on a lot of what makes you who you are. So when we talk about physical energy, what we're talking about is just how much physical energy you feel like you have to give in that moment. And it's affected by a lot of things. How you eat affects your physical energy, right?
Right.
How you exercise affects your physical energy. If you sleep enough, that affects your physical energy, or if you're resting enough. So one of the things that they do in cardiac rehab is they try to get you to eat better and exercise more and maybe even sleep better, because that's going to help you to have more physical energy. Now when we look at your emotional energy, what do you think I'm talking about with emotional energy? How about like your mood?
Yeah.
Can you have a good mood and a bad mood? And that can change, right, throughout the day or on different days. Emotions might also be how you connect with other people, the relationships that you have. It could be, with a spouse or a partner. It could be with a parent. It could be with a child. It could be with your neighbors. It could be in your community. It could be with God, right? Your relationships and how connected you feel to other people. And some people feel very connected, and some people begin to lose connections at certain times. So that's what we're referring to here in the emotional side. From a mental perspective, the mind, what do you think I'm talking about there? part of your mind?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely so.
And you think that you might have to work to keep your mental energy?
I don't have a good memory.
You don't have a good memory. Do you think you can improve it?
Hasn't happened.
It hasn't happened. Well, maybe you didn't have the secret formula, so we're going to see if we have the secret formula here. So the mental energy is that. It's focus, it's decision making, it's memory, it's time management, prioritizing, things like that. What do you think the spiritual energy is?
I would say religion, but I don't know.
It could be religion. So for some people, it's going to be your faith, your belief in a higher power, something along those lines. But what if somebody really weren't religious? Could they still be spiritual? What do you think?
Oh, so,
Yeah. So it's all about who and what really matters to you. What is most important to you in your life? What kinds of goals do you have? What kind of impact do you want to leave on the people that you care about? So that one day when you're gone, people are going to talk about you. They're going to remember you. Well, what kinds of things are they going to remember, right? Hopefully it's good stuff. But that depends on what we do each and every day. So that's what we're talking about here with the 4 dimensions. Now, do you think they're all important?
yeah.
They are. They're all important. So if you're not doing well on one, let's say that you're sick or that you don't have a lot of physical energy down there. Do you think that it starts to affect your mood or your ability to think if you're tired or you're sick?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, or if you've known anyone that's like in a lot of pain, it can really take a toll on their emotions. They might be in a bad mood more often, or they can't think, they're distracted, right?
Right.
So the point here is that one affects the other. If you're in a bad mood, do you think that you're more likely to exercise or less likely? If you're just having a rotten day,
No,
do you think you're going to say, wow, let me go
No.
exercise,
No.
right? No. That's the last thing that you want to do. So even if your intentions were good on exercising, you say, I'm not in a good mood, I just don't feel like doing it. I deserve to sit on the couch and watch TV and just, sleep if I want to. So these are all important. One affects the other. So we constantly want to be working on all of them at one time. And we're going to have a chance to talk about this one. Because what I say is that if you're going to focus on one, this one is going to be very important. Because if you have a strong sense of purpose, and you know who and what is important to you, guess what? You'll start doing the things in these other areas that allow you to be that person that you want to be. And when you're doing that, you know what happens? What the science shows is that you actually become healthier. You're happier. And everything that you do in your life, whether you're working or whether you're not working, just the things that you do each and every day, you do them better. So does that sound like something you would want?
Definitely.
Yeah? Okay, great. And so we're going to go through a process. We're going to make sure that we know what we're trying to do, that we know where we are, so that we know what it is that we want to work on. And that's how the best way to make change. That's the approach that you want to take. So what we're going to do first is we're going to let you have a chance to think about your purpose, that spiritual dimension, and who and what really matters to you. Hi.
Hi, sorry I'm late.
That's okay. We just finished the first slide, so you haven't missed too much.
Okay.
We just finished this and now we're here.
Okay.
Okay. So how many of you have had a chance, now that we have several of you in here, to write down for yourself what your purpose is in life? Did you learn that at school? Did anybody at school say, hey, let's all stop and instead of doing math, we're going to write down the purpose of our lives? No one does this, right? It's math, and it's spelling, and it's reading, and it's writing. For what? If you don't know what your purpose is, what am I doing all of this for, right? So we're going to have a chance to help you to think about what your purpose is, where you're going, where you want to end up in your life. Then what we're going to do is see where you are right now. This is the painful part that I call facing the truth. What have you been doing which brings you to where you are today, right? It may not be the best behaviors, the best things in the world, and some of them might be the greatest things in the world that you've been doing. But whatever you've been doing has brought you to this place. I don't mean cardiac rehab, I mean this place in your life, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to look to see where you are now, where you'd like to go in your life, and then the action becomes, what do I need to do to get from where I am now to where it is that I want to be? So it sounds like a lot, but it's just like a step-by-step process, and it helps you to determine, what should I do today? What should I do today that's going to help me on this journey to where it is that I want to end up in my life? Now, it's safe to say that for many of us, more than half our lives are behind us, right?
Yeah.
We're not looking to live to be 150 or, so, but there are still years ahead. You acknowledge that, right?
Yes.
And so here's the thing, you can't change what's behind you. It's done, it's gone, it's already over. But you can certainly really carve out that path that still lies before you. And it's all about what you start doing today that really helps to create that. And the idea is that no matter how long we have left, whether it's a year or whether it's 10 years, you want to live it to the fullest. You want to be able to have the biggest impact possible. And so this process is going to help us to figure out what that is. How does that sound so far?
Okay.
Yes? Heavy? So I'm going to turn things over to Brooks, and he is going to take you through some energy assessments.
So on our, let's see, our second page, I guess, there's this same thing in your books here. And so we're kind of going to do a little mindful exercise. So here I go as well. And so as you can see, we have the same pyramid, and we have that scale of 1 to 4 for each kind of area. And so if you were to look at physical and say, well, I'm going to rate this, and a 1 would be I'm ready to fall asleep. If there was a bed right here, I can just go right to bed. And if you had a number 4, you would be kind of ready to do some chair exercises or get up and start, dancing right now. So that's kind of the extreme. So for all of those, we kind of want to rate and see where we're at right now in this room, today, this moment. So emotionally, if you're really, really negative, you would be, a 1. But if you're real positive and optimistic and you're feeling good and ready and all of that stuff, then you'd be a 4. And mental, if you're kind of focused on what we're talking about and it's interesting and you're liking it or whatever, you'd be a 4. Whereas if mentally you're kind of scattered, thinking about, I got to let the dog out on the way in, or the traffic's crazy, then you're kind of at the 1 end. And then finally, the purpose, so if you're real clear on your purpose, that kind of Raquel talked about a little bit, if you kind of, that's in your mind, you've got it definitely down, you're a 4. Or if you're not really sure, I haven't thought about it much, then you might be a 1. So take a minute or so and just kind of mark where you would be right now. Okay, so what we'll do now is just add up all the numbers that we got. And so the best we could do would be a 16, sweet 16. The worst would obviously be a 4. So whatever your number is, it's all relative, but did anyone get kind of all 4s in here? Was anyone just fully engaged, fully energized? No? Okay, so we've got a little bit of work to do. So that's kind of the idea. If we're all 4s, we're, sorry. That'd be considered fully engaged. And so what that means is, physically we're energized, emotionally we're connected, mentally we're focused, and spiritually we're aligned with kind of what our goals, what we want them to be. So does anybody remember a time in their life maybe when they were fully engaged or more engaged than they are at this point? So Ms. Wallace, I know you travel a lot, right?
Right.
So is there any time that you've been in your travels and just been excited and focused and connected to the world?
Yeah, I do travel a lot. I think the most exciting thing for me was going to Sweden. I had a goddaughter who lived there, and I went over for the wedding, so it was really...
So right, you're around family and it's a new place and
Yeah.
it's kind of your purpose. So kind of that feeling that you had, that's what we want to kind of translate through life more than just on these special events. That's kind of what we're trying to get to. You know, what would it be like to have that kind of fully connectedness more often than not just on special occasions or nice trips. Did anyone kind of identify a dimension that's maybe not as high as they'd like it to be? Maybe my physical was a little bit lower than what I want, or my spiritual is, I really haven't thought about my purpose much.
Well, physical, I mean, we're all here, so
Yeah.
I know nobody should have gotten it for, I would imagine.
Sure, you have a four. I mean, right now you could be feeling great and ready to go, but
Physically,
sure.
coming to this place?
This is not the board, that's the gym.
Yeah, well, I didn't say that.
I know what you're saying, I understand. So yeah, I mean, that's definitely something I think we're all here to work on, is to get more energy in our physical kind of dimension. So how can we kind of grow this energy? That's kind of what we're trying to get to. How can we get to where we're fully connected with our families in Sweden or wherever, on a more often basis than not? And so that kind of comes to this idea of the stress and recovery. And so typically we hear of stress and we think, oh, that's bad. Stress, we don't need stress. But without stress, we wouldn't grow. So if you don't come in here and you don't exercise and we just kind of continue to stay on the couch, we just wouldn't get any physical benefit. So that's how we grow our physical kind of energy, is by coming in and exercising. Do you guys feel better ever or more energy when you leave or after you exercise?
I do.
Yeah, I know. I mean, if I have a Sunday where I'm just kind of sitting on the couch all day, I'm not energized all of a sudden at the end of the day. You know, but if I do a little bit of exercise, you feel better. So that's kind of the idea, that stress and recovery, and that can be for each dimension of energy. So emotionally, if we don't stress our emotions and try to stress, I guess we always stress our emotions. We can stress good, we can stress bad. So if we're kind of always pessimistic, and that's what we're working on building essentially, then that's kind of what we'll have. Just like if we always exercise, then we'll be fit. If we don't exercise, we won't be fit. If we always focus on being optimistic, then we can be more optimistic. So what we want to do is actually learn to kind of grow these things. So if you said, well, my emotional, I'm optimistic most of the time, but there's times that I'm not. So how can I kind of be better at that? And so we want to kind of help you come up with ways that works for you. So does anybody kind of have any ideas for how you could grow emotional energy, essentially? Physical, we kind of have that idea. We come in and exercise. But how can we stress and then grow our emotional energy? What is emotional energy for you guys? What are we trying to grow?
Well, didn't someone say something about pessimism?
Yeah.
I'm a pessimist.
Okay. So do you like that?
Oh, no.
Because yeah, I mean, if you're pessimistic, it's probably harder to get up and exercise. Like, it's not going to help.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Yeah. So if we could kind of learn to grow our optimistic side, you can maybe make some of those changes a little easier. That's kind of the idea. So how do you think you could grow that?
I have no idea.
Okay. So one way could be, so if we're always thinking kind of that this isn't going to happen, what if we just take a few minutes of our day and think optimistically? It's almost kind of like fake it till you make it. So you're just going to think optimistically for 5 minutes each day, and then that will kind of grow into, you're going to put more energy into being optimistic and more energy into being pessimistic. That's kind of the way we kind of do it. What about like patience? That's another emotion. Are we all always patient?
No.
We're not. So what could we do to kind of grow that patience muscle?
Try to be more patient.
Yeah. So maybe if you're at a grocery store and there's the quick checkout, no one's there in the line, there's lots of people there. You don't really have much to do. Maybe you could get in that line and kind of try that, and then kind of grow your patience muscle. And so then when you actually need that patience, you'll have it. Just like when you need your optimism, you'll have it. So on a daily basis, you may not need your optimism. I mean, obviously, the more the better. On a daily basis, you might not need your patience. But in those real moments, those acute moments where you really need it, where you're in a traffic jam and you feel your blood pressure and your heart rate going, if you had practiced and built that muscle up, then maybe you wouldn't be as frustrated. So that's kind of the idea. We want to work to grow our good things. We're going to put energy into something. So we're either going to put it in being pessimistic and impatient, cynical. Why don't we put it in something else and kind of start to grow the other side? So we're not predetermined, this is what you will be when you kind of are born. Everyone has learned behaviors, learned things that we do. So it's the same for mental too. You say, oh, my memory's not all that great, it's never been that great. So we can learn, we can grow that. So we can kind of take 10 minutes and focus on something. Or, try to do a crossword puzzle. Or, each day kind of try and work a little bit more. If we don't work on it though, it won't change, just like exercise. If we exercise one time and then stand in front of the mirror, and wait for a change to happen, it's not gonna happen. Nothing's gonna change without that work for it. And then spiritually, so growing our spiritual kind of muscle or energy also takes some work. So we have to kind of think about what's our purpose, and why are we here, and what am I doing all this for? That's kind of a big important part of life, and why you get up in the morning, and what makes all the things that we do possible. So we'll kind of run over.
Okay. So thank you, Brooke. So what Brooks just gave you really is the formula for how you grow more energy. You can actually have more energy in any area you want, a day from now, a week from now, or a year from now. But the point is that you actually have to invest energy in it. So investing in optimism will pay off. Investing in your memory. You could wake up, make a list of, 5 or 10 words, and you have to remember them at the end of the day. And so every so often you kind of think of your 5 words or 10 words, and pretty soon you start, those memory parts of your brain get better and better and better. But you have to know what it is that you want to grow. How do I know what I want to grow? How do I know if memory is important, or if optimism is important, or patience is important? The only way to know that is to understand what your purpose is. Because when you understand what your purpose is, you might say, you know what? If I want to live my life the way that I want, I need more confidence. Or I need better time management skills. Or I need to be more physically fit because I want to go to Sweden, and the next time I go, I want to go skiing while I'm there. So whatever those things are that you want to do, that's what purpose helps you pick so that you can work towards it. So it's really kind of like our guiding light. That's what it really becomes for us. Okay. So what we're going to do is before we really write down our purpose, what I want to do is I want to show you a video. And it's just a video that's fun. It's off of YouTube. Just so you know, it's in Chinese, so it does have subtitles. So you do need to read the subtitles. Everybody can read from here? You don't need glasses or anything? Because I can read it out loud for you. Anyone? Can you see the screen? Okay, perfect. So let's take a look at this video, and then we'll regroup afterwards.
Physical energy.
That was a true story. Average age 81. I don't think any of you were close to 81, right? Well, you don't look it, so. So what do you think? What do you think about that video?
It's inspiring.
It's inspiring. You think that the week before they decided to go ride motorcycles, they even imagined that they could do any of those things?
No.
Probably not. Sometimes we don't even know what we're capable of, and we just have to have that spark that really gets us going in that direction. And it says at the end, it's for ordinary people with extraordinary dreams. All of us are ordinary people, but we have the opportunity to do extraordinary things with our lives and the people that are around us. So what I want you to do, just keeping that in your mind and sort of the spirit of that video and that story in your hearts, is I want you to take a look in your books at some of the questions that are on this page here where it says purpose. It gives you a list of some questions to think about, like who are the most important people in your lives? Who matters to you? How do you want those people to describe you? I think that's really important. What types of words do you want them to say? How do you define success for you? You know, a lot of times when you're younger, you know what we think success is? Making money, buying houses, having things. And then we get perspective. You think that that's what makes people happy and feel fulfilled? Things?
Not really, no.
No, not really. So what is success if it's not things? Well, how would you define that for yourself in your life? What are your most important values and beliefs, the things that you would fight for to the death because they're so important to you? The convictions that you have, what really matters to you? And there's another important question here that I think all of us should take a look at. How important is your health to you being able to be successful? So is there a role for being healthy with the things that you want to do? So as you consider those questions, maybe answer them or think of some words, what I'd like for you to do is to take a chance here and start writing down what you think your ultimate mission statement might look like. It could be words, it could be sentences. It doesn't even have to make sense yet because this is your first time maybe trying to put this together. But what kinds of things would you say are the most important for you? And I'm going to give you like 5 minutes. We're going to write this down and we're going to walk around just to see if you have any questions or you're stuck. Okay? This is the tough part of the class, but it's really, really important.
Oh, okay.
Insert right on
Yeah.
this, yeah.
All right.
You can